Welcome to Practicing Art, where we dive into the stories behind the art and the creative paths that shape the artist and their work. Today I'm extremely honored to sit down with Maurice Laflamme III, aka Artfool, a visionary abstract artist, live painter, and co-founder of the Broken Lantern Art Collective. From the dance floors of San Francisco's Bay Scene to long nights painting under the desert sky and Joshua Tree, Artfool's journey is one of raw resilience, deep intuition, and constant creation. He is a true master of his craft. Let's explore how his art emerged, transformed into a lifestyle, and continues to evolve as a form of service and meditation. Enjoy.
We're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we're talking about practice. Not a game, not a game, not a game. We talking about practice. But we talking about practice, man. What are we talking about? Practice? We talking about practice, man. We talking about practice. We talking about practice. We ain't talking about the game. We talking about practice, man.
I really like artists that dedicate like a lot of time and like energy to their stuff. So like people that like super push it, like my friend Gabriel Welch, goes by Omeka One, and let's see, a lot of people that pass through here. I got a friend Dylan Thomas Brooks that makes like really beautiful shapes. He crafts himself, and Pharaoh One, um, Kaylee, Barely Wait Kaylee. It's a lot of people I work with, people that come around, and Flam Goo, she's really good.
What are your daily habits, and what is a typical routine for you?
So my typical routine is I've been waking up a lot earlier lately. So that's around like 9 for me. And then I get some coffee right away. I'm making coffee, and then I go right into my studio. Lately I've been like sit down and like watch TV or something for like 30 minutes and just like drink the coffee and then go in the studio. Sometimes I'll just go right in. And then for the last like many years, I've been, or at least like 5 since I've been here and had like really dedicated studio space. So I've been able to try like to do at least 12 hours a day while I'm painting.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, and that's what I've been trying for a long time successfully. And sometimes that's even a short day, whenever I really get into it. And then I have a really supportive family, but I also have a 9-year-old daughter now. So I'm having to spend more time with her in it. But we also homeschool, so she's around all the time, and she likes to do clay art and stuff. And that's
Amazing.
fun. Hmm.
That's a pretty full schedule. It's a pretty full schedule though, painting 12 hours and
Yeah,
raising a child.
yeah, yeah.
Do you have much time for anything else? Are you reading any books or anything like that?
I listen to a lot of like podcasts while I paint,
Hmm.
so keep my brain stimulated that way. Usually, I used
What are
to read a
your
lot of books, but
what are you what are your top 3 podcasts you're listening to right now?
um, let's see. Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast. I like that one a lot. Um, I like Rogan. A lot of different topics, people, and shoot, what else? Tim Dillon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Tim
and then
Dillon's
I
great.
like watching Kill Tony every week too,
Uh-huh.
like comedians and you know. You ever seen that one?
Yeah, I like Kill
Yeah,
Tony.
yeah, it's on tonight.
Nice.
Yeah, me and my wife like watching that weekly. It's good to get a little comedy in the mix.
Are you still reading currently, or what books have you read in the past that really have taught you some things?
I'm a big Herman Hesse fan, so I've read all his books. I used to collect them, and I read Damien when I was like 16, and that's a book about like like all Herman Hesse books is about like a boy coming to age in a kind of magical sort of way. And then I just started collecting his books and reading all of them, Narcissus and Goldman and Beneath the Wheel and Steppenwolf. A lot of people know Steppenwolf. And so Herman Hesse, and then I'll throw in some like Clive Cussler sometimes, like fantasy and But then I like to read like Crowley and stuff too. Getting into like magic and that stuff. I used to be like really fascinated reading books like that. And but I guess after the internet and Netflix and everything became so easy to get stories in different ways. Yeah, just haven't read as much. I also paint a lot more now too. So
Right.
yeah.
What are you learning anything else right now, or are you just focused on the mastery of painting?
Yeah, I'm specializing on painting right now. Um Also like community building, that kind of stuff, and um gardening. I've been working on permaculture. It's a new thing we're doing at our property. I live out at
Awesome.
a spot out in Joshua Tree called the Broken Lantern. It's like 3.5 acres of desert. We're out in the middle of nowhere, and it's like a spot. We have a guest house, and artists come and stop through and paint and collaborate a lot. So now we're getting into having like a food forest garden. So we like radishes and green onions and potatoes, mint, corn. So we're getting going. It's pretty fun.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I got a little psychedelic garden out front too. It's all the San Pedro varieties.
Amazing. Yeah, I've seen a picture of your house on your website and it looked pretty cool. It looks like you got the art going on the outside as well.
Yeah, trying to keep that like a big collaboration too. A lot of different artists on the outside.
Awesome. How long does someone typically stay with you when they're traveling through?
Yeah, so whenever people come over here, I like them to stay for at least 3 days so we can make something substantial. Usually spending like all day and night on painting, and then people kind of know the pace that I like to set because I usually show like my process and stories. So I like to work a lot. And my wife she'll make us like really healthy food, like while we're painting, and yeah, it's pretty fun. And we got like a hot tub here too, so we'll do hot tub at the end of the night after we're done painting. It's fun.
Amazing. How do you balance curiosity and exploration with mastery?
Curiosity and exploration of mastery. Well, like mastery is kind of like, I guess, in painting, mastery like comes from, and all things really, it comes from like practicing your scales. Like the piano. You have to like show up and paint, show up at the piano, show up at the construction site, whatever it is. And so that's like mastery there. So I guess curiosity, like you want to like stray away kind of and have these experiences, right? Um, but mastery is knowing that you kind of have to stay grounded in the process. So I balance it that way. If I feel like I'm not painting enough, then I get in and paint more. You know, yeah.
What
So
role what role does failure or mistakes play in your learning process?
so the only reason like I am an artist is because I failed so many times at other things. Like wanting to do other things. I was good at a lot of different things, but wanting to do it was a different thing. And failure in art is really important. Mistakes are important. Um, like for me, sometimes psychedelics definitely get involved with my work. And if I'm on a higher dose of something and I'm working on something like this, and this has definitely happened on this painting. And like, then I wake up the next morning and there's just like a bunch of pink, which happened on this one. Going like that, I see it as like a good thing, because then I can always paint over that paint and I can use a change of the flow that's created from the chaos. So like mistakes are good. It's just like a lot of it is mistakes. Like so on this painting, I see things I need to fix, and then whenever I don't like see as much things that I can fix at some point, then I can like call it done. You know. But this one's getting there kind of faster. This one's only like a year so far, a little over a year. So like the last one I did this size that I spent a lot of time on got to like a point a little higher than this, one right here. But it took me like 3 years to do that. So it's getting
What
faster.
what size is that canvas behind you?
That's 9 by 5
Hmm.
or 9 by 6 maybe, 9 by 5 or 9 by 6.
Hmm.
Yeah. Mm.
Do you have multiple canvases that size going at the same time, or is that kind of your main big one, and then you're working smaller too?
Yeah, I got another one on the other side of the studio that I have on the wall, and I have like studio lights, so I can like flip over to the other side, and so yeah, I like having a couple going, but usually I'll like spend like a week straight on this one, like pushing it as far as I can until it's like driving me crazy, like looking at it like all day, every day, and then then I'll switch to like a smaller piece or something, and so I do these like live auction things where like I start the painting while I start the auction with a blank canvas, and then I update my stories every hour, and and then I update the bid every hour too, and then the auction stops like abruptly whenever I finish the painting. So I do those in between working on this big one a lot of times, so that I can like get a little cash flow in and keep paying bills and stuff.
How do you kind of incorporate gathering all this material that you use for your social media? All the videos of you painting and all the reveal things. Seems like you've got a good system of incorporating that all. What could you tell me about that?
Yeah, yeah, I tried like TikTok like a few years back, and then I did like my first video on that, and I was just playing around, doing video, and it reached like so 2 million people, something like that, within a month or two. Like, but it was like a couple of days. It reached like a million, and then it went up, and and that was a trip to see like my art hit that many people. So I've seen it to be important to do the videos and you add like a little bit of humor too, but also show that like there's a process to it. And yeah. Hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you've painted it like Desert Hearts and Camp Question Mark at Burning Man. What is your how do you get the energy
Camp question mark. Yeah,
yeah, right.
I love that. The
Uh,
energy.
what is it like painting at big shows like that, and how does the energy of the crowd like feed into you, and how does that like change the piece?
I love it. So I like showing up with like a blank canvas to these festivals and letting the energy from the people around and the all the different vibrations of the night, like like being able to like just use all the energy of the party to really make something unique. And it's harder to do in the studio to like get your vibe up like that high, you know. Uh, so I like doing it for that. And then at some point, I was at a festival called Stilldream that's coming up. It's really like special festival, and I was sitting on my painting, and I was like, usually I'll sit like in front of my painting, and this time I was sitting like this so that other people could come in and paint in a way. But I didn't say anything about it. I was just like starting to come up with the idea in my head where I was like, wait, it'd be pretty cool to like paint with friends instead of just painting by myself all the time. So um, let's see, I started doing it here at the house, at our house, and we had parties. where uh, I would put up a canvas so it was like this size, two of them, and once for people that have been painting for 10 years and above, and once for people that have been painting like 2 through 10 years. So kind of adding like a little like respect for like people that have been doing art for a long time, like professionally, and like, and putting their heart into it and stuff. So then, our first party, we had me and Jeff Logan and Dylan Thomas Brooks on a canvas, and they both showed up because I told them they figured, let the concept be known about the 10-year canvas. And for like the first day, it was me and me painting, me and Dylan, and then Jeff came in, and it was really cool to have that. But the other canvas we had for everybody else, that had like uh 12, 13 artists on it, maybe more than that. I think I'm like underestimating that. We had like a lot of people here, like sound system around middle of nowhere. So it was a lot of fun.
Where is
And
that canvas now? Has it sold?
they're both rolled up in my garage.
You're one
Yeah.
of those hoarders. I know you create too much.
Oh yeah, I got so much canvas. Yeah. We've had a few of those parties, so I got a lot of those.
Amazing.
And yeah. And so now we do it at festivals. We've done it at Burning Man, Camp Question Mark. Um, where, I'm painting up there, and I'll put out like a post saying that to like the artist community that I know and people, around, and that I'm gonna be there. And if you go to Camp Question Mark, come paint with me kind of thing. And so the first time we did that, we were up on this big stage, and it was pretty awesome. Artists would tell me who they were. Like Sidekiss came up and he's like, "Can I paint?" I was like, "Do you paint?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Who do you go by?" He's like, "Sidekiss." And I like reached down, grab his arm, and like pull him up on stage. And it was really fun to like do that with like a lot of artists, like just reach down and pull everybody up on stage. We had probably like 10 people up there at once at some point. And
Amazing.
and that was during Diplo's set. And I was just going around grabbing everybody's brushes from them and cleaning them and then giving them back to them kind of thing. Because everybody's like, pretty, having a good time at Burning Man. And, but yeah, it went really good. Yeah.
Well, that's one thing I think it seems like collaboration is just a huge part of who you are and the community that you're trying to build.
Yeah, thanks. Hell yeah. Yeah, that's it's like an open invite for artists. Anybody seeing this too, like hit me up if you're ever like coming through Joshua Tree area. I like to paint, like to
Awesome.
collaborate, you know.
Yeah, I would love that.
Hell yeah. Yeah, for sure you would. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
So you paint every day, often, usually for like 12 hours a day.
Yeah, I've been going to days since about 9. So
What drives
yeah.
that consistency? And is it like discipline, obsession, or something else completely?
It's kind of a mix, you know. I like the question. It's definitely
I
like a
think you
mix.
got
I
all
feel like
those. You got all those factors in you.
yeah. I yeah, also like raising, like having a daughter that like I'm supporting with art money kind of stuff is like uh my wife's a photographer too. She does, pretty good too, but we have to, you know, it's if I don't keep at it, then we might not have hot water, which happened, last year. And so that's always around the corner for me, and it always has been. And it's something I'm comfortable with at this point because I also have like a lot of blessings in life. So, and yeah. And but yeah, let's see. What was the question again?
Just you paint so much. Like, what drives that consistency, and how do
I
you?
feel like it's an old game that I have like the privilege of being a part of in a way, if that makes any sense. Kind of
Expand?
like Picasso kind of played this game. Uh, Van Gogh, Da Vinci, like all these people like played this game where you paint as great as you can in life, you make the best art you can, as much as you can, and then you know, and that's how you get in the game. You know, you have to like, you know, so like I'm you know, it's to me it creates like an interest to life that I really like. So you know, it's nice to kind of frame things as a game sometimes, and like you know, and there's other people I see kind of playing this game too, like Gabriel Omeka that I mentioned earlier. You know, painting like all day every day, and it's taking it as far as we can. You know, and he's a real joy to paint with too, because like you know he would when he stayed over here he would paint from like 6 a.m. to like uh, 4 p.m. or something, or something like he just all day. He had the day shift, and then I would come in and we'd you know smack hands, tag me in kind of thing, and I would be in until like 6 a.m. after that, and trying to like just wrap my head around the cool shit that he did. And like, how do I fucking okay? I need to do something really cool to make him still interested in this painting, like you know. So that was a fun way to like be pushed to like create some cool shit, you know. Yeah.
I feel like I haven't done too much painting like that, but I feel like yeah, coming back to a canvas that has all this magic that appeared on it, and then how do you add and accentuate that magic that has just been laid on without detracting, but adding and making more? It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's you know, and also like so one of the things we do with collaborations here is we're like um not much rules or like theory behind it. It's like I like to have people talk with their paintbrushes. So if it starts becoming too much of something, usually I'll flip the canvas over and then we'll have to keep doing stuff like that. That's it's fun usually like to having I mean it is a rule saying like there's no rules, but it's kind of like a playful rule. And you know, like painting with Omeko and we were doing that, I would paint these like really cool forms and I'd be so proud of him. And you know, he would like glaze over them and push them back real far or something, or just you know, and you know, he'd do dope, awesome stuff with them. But like, there was like a non-attachment that goes with that. There's a non-attachment that goes with collaborations. And for me, like, I'm in it for the love of the game, so it's like I like to paint. If if they go over something, anybody, and I have to work with that, then that's it's like a blessing. It's like something on the puzzle. It's like chaos I have to fix, which just goes, you know, back to like the mistake thing. Like mistakes are good. So like, you know, in a way, it's like, you know, if, I do like, you know, painting like whenever I take hallucinogens and and I don't really like to take hallucinogens away from the canvas because I feel like it's kind of like waste sometimes. And I do my best work on them, you know, but I space them out as well because you know like spacing out trips is good, you know, so they can be more impactful and you know and you respect them and but that's a good way to like create different parts of the puzzle for me where like so for me I know how I like things to look, so when I paint it I don't necessarily make like mistakes. I do but I don't. It's like I kind of know how I like to look or this and you know I don't know. So but like painting with other people they add in different ways you would never even think about going with like a line. And you're like, okay, like, how can I play with this? So,
How do you
yeah.
feel your work differs depending upon the medicine that you're working with?
um, it so so I like to think of myself as a psychedelic artist. You know, it makes sense for like if I was gonna call myself anything, you know. And it's always been part of my work. You know, started with like smoking a lot of weed and as a teenager and doodling in like class and stuff. You know, and I respect people like Timothy Leary and Terrence McKenna and people that have really pushed it, and like Hunter S. Thompson, and people that that psychedelic cowboys, people that really cosmonauts, people that like go there and test it, and
Explore, yeah.
yeah, so that's like what I do, like respectfully, you know. I'm not here to say that like I'm so great at tripping or I can handle so much. Like I'm not here to like be that guy or anything. But I do work with them as a way that I navigate this world, um, respectfully. Like um, it is medicine to me, and and so my work differs by intention. So whenever I do medicine and I I get in front of the canvas, it's like I'm locked in. It's like intentional, you know. But I can also do that with tea. I can also do that with other things. Part of being like a psychedelic artist too is also taking breaks, doing sometimes it's even a full stop. That could happen to me soon. Uh, I've seen that with different artists and psychedelic artists, like hitting the sobriety thing more. And and that's a cool thing to see, you know. But still pushing limits. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
You've described painting as like a form of meditation. Could you talk about that a bit?
Yeah. Yeah. Almost like one of the things about like the festival thing too is like there's so much going on around you, so much chaos, so much things to mind, you know, that you can really zone in on the painting. That's another reason that the painting is so good is like you have all these distractions and you're like intentional, like I'm gonna get in and I'm gonna do this thing, you know. So my daughter like coming up and saying things to me sometimes when I'm like trying to be tapped into my work, before I learned how to work with that better, I would just like kind of focus in more. Now, I've learned to take a second and talk to her and see what's going on because you really got to smell the roses. And like, but it's weird, I do months slip by for me, like years, especially having like the routine I have. But yeah, so it's a meditation. It is a form of meditation, and in the way of like navigating distractions. And I mean, in a way, painting is almost selfish because like you have to like tap in so much to like make something, and the hours it takes to like really get good at it. For me, at least, some people pop in really quick with it, get really good really fast, and but for me, I have to stay practicing, and that's good for like my soul too. It gives me a long time to like I process a lot of thoughts. Um, I've been painting in silence more, and that's a really nice thing to like do. You can hear the birds in the morning, and just be like, "Whoa!" It's pretty good, and then also just like listening to stuff, listening to music. Uh, if I put on music and I paint, the painting goes just like with psychedelics. The painting goes better, and that's also taps into that meditation, you know. But sometimes I've gotten very deep into like the psychedelics and the painting and the attention into it, and just it's pretty wild how much focus you can get on a thing. You know, it's like it's a trip.
Yeah, I'd like to kind of learn a little bit more about your early life and like where you grew up at and
Okay.
yeah.
um,
Where
I'm
you
from
from?
Modesto, California. Do you know Modesto?
I worked in Fresno for like six
Okay.
months one year, so
Yep.
I do know the area a little bit. Yeah.
Sweet.
kind of the
Yeah,
armpit of
so
California, but it's also like right in some beautiful areas right there.
yeah. Oh, is it cool if I smoke while I'm on here?
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, so from Modesto, California. Um, yeah, born there. I lived there till I was like 13. Um, sorry about that. Yeah, so I guess yeah. What do you want to know?
Well,
Like
I'd like to kind of talk a little bit about the story of your dad and how that affected you. And so your father passed away when you were 13, correct?
yeah,
How did he
yeah.
pass away?
He uh he had a cardiomyopathy, so his like heart got too big to function. They like rubbed together, and then so it was like kind of out of nowhere. It was totally out of nowhere, and he was only sick like once before any of that. So um yeah, all of a sudden, and then woke up to my mom like screaming like Maurice don't die. That was my dad's name too. So went out there and he was having a seizure on the floor, and ambulance took a long time to get there, and they tried, it is what it is. And so he had a lot of brain damage, and then he passed like 2 weeks later.
That's very
And
sad. I'm sorry.
so, but yeah, it affected me in like a lot of ways. You know, I had like a rough life before that. So, I mean, almost selfishly, I was like, man, I could kind of use this for like sympathy, you know, like, you know, because I had like so much going on, and that was good to try to frame it like that. I guess try to, I don't know. I'm it's still a thing where it's like I actually just this year, I just had my birthday June 10th, and he died when he was 38, and I just turned 38. So this is a trip for me because everybody said he was young when he died, and like I didn't really understand that. I thought he was so old when he died, and now I'm that age. I'm like, whoa, it's pretty young.
Mhm.
So yeah, it affected me. I was also like into like gang stuff in Modesto, and like I was at high school, and these I was like freshman, and these kids came up, but I was late, and I was showed up wearing like all one color, and guys got out of the car in front of us, in front of me and my mom. We were parked like kind of far out from the school. It's like the other side of the street kind of thing, but it was like far enough away, and they popped out, and they like had automatics like Uzis and shit, and then they like put them in their pants and stuff, and they started walking towards the school. And told my mom to call the sheriff, and like as I saw that, and I had my seat leaned back, and if they would have came up to the car, like my mom could have like got really hurt, you know, and luckily nothing happened there. But the sheriffs arrested all the guys on the way in, and they all had guns, and they were going for people I knew. And so after that, we moved out of Modesto shortly after, and went to Chico, California. And then, you know, I remember like standing in front of the mirror in Chico and having like a skater outfit in one hand and like a thug outfit in the other hand. What do I want to be? And then I picked the thug. And so everybody was like, went there, and worked hard to get in with the local scene there. And I came from Modesto, so I got some respect from that. And and so that went good. And then a few days later, after they accepted me and stuff, I wore the skater outfit, and it just like tripped everybody out. They didn't know what to do. These guys are like, "Wait, who's this guy? Like, come on!" Because it was like I don't know, it's bouncing back and forth like that. It wasn't like a thing you did. But they were cool with it after a bit. Like yeah, and I always draw
So
in class. Yeah,
you would always draw in class. When did your art start?
art started for me when I was like 4 is like my earliest like memory making art, which is like I did a still life of like I had this like troll doll, but it was like stuffed and it was like this big, and I did a still life of it, and it was fun. It was with crayons, and then at 5 I did a picture of me and my dad holding hands, and that ended up in the local paper, the Modesto Bee, and there's like a little kids drawing section, and my mom would like put drawings on the paper. Another one happened like the next year or something, or 2 years later, and then I started being like, well, I'm an artist, and then so yeah, so I've been into it my whole life. So yeah.
Did you ever like kind of hide your artistic abilities from like when you're in the gang friends, or would you always just express it still?
Still express it.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, like there's always like a place for that, like tagging and stuff, and like I mean, art is inside of gang culture like heavily. There's like prison culture, like prison art. It's art's art's a trip. It's like it's kind of like in a lot of things. Kind of like comedy and music. Art, comedy, music. They're all kind of like similar, different ways to navigate the world.
Awesome. Let's talk a little bit about Broken Lantern for a little bit. What is this project that you got going on?
So yeah, it's an oasis out in the desert, and the only bar of entry is your dedication to your craft. So if you're painting often every day, you can come here. You know, even if you're painting consistently at least once a week, you can come here. Which, you know, or if you've been doing it for a lot of years, some people fall out of practice. It's not, but like I can tell by looking at someone's work, kind of if they're putting intention into it. You know, it's not even necessarily like if I like love their art, but usually I do. If you put intention into it, it's usually good. And I mean, we've had artists come out. We had a friend, you know, well, she met us through me promoting Broken Lantern, like what we do, and she came by for from Oregon, just drove out, and she was here for I want to say like 2 months, maybe a month, 2 months. It's a long while. We should paint in the studio every day. A lot of fun. We've had uh, other artists stay for a couple months, longer. We've had people live here. We have an artist living here right now, actually. A friend of ours that has cancer and is doing some stuff, and she's deaf. She's a great artist, and my wife's helping her out with medical stuff and things like that. And she lives on the road, so like she parks here. We have like a lot of room, and it's just convenient, you know. And then people that live on the road too, a lot of times they're good at having their own space, and it works out good, you know. Especially when people are like good at like hanging out with my daughter and doing stuff like that, and like helping out around the house slightly, just being mindful and shit. It's kind of it's cool to do like community stuff, but it's also cool that it ends at some point, which I like because I do like to clear the space and clean and do all these different things, so I can make it proper for the next people. So we do have like a guest house that stays open most of the time until artists come into it, and you know, and so that's pretty much what it is. It's like pretty simple thing so far, and then doing it at festivals like we did same but different, Burning Man and Stilldream, and getting like 17, 20 artists on a canvas that are all there to paint is really fun. And then also inspiring people that are out of practice to get back into it. And yeah.
Kind
So
of kind of like an artist rehabilitation center, huh?
yeah, it's nice to have a place where you're wanted, you know. Being an artist, it's easy to a lot of places. It's like you're a salmon swimming upstream a lot of times, you know. So if you have like a place that's not only like welcoming, but like I'm overly welcoming here. I hit artists up. I hit people up. Sometimes they hit me up, but I know I have a big community network, so it's like a lot of times you got to hit me up because it's just like I get so into like what I'm doing with my own work. But then people know they're more than encouraged to come here. They just have to show up. And so far it's been a great experiment. It's been going on for 3 or 4 years now. So and it is like the idea of something being broken and being able to fix it because like like working with things, working with people, you know, a lot of some of the best people I have around me were like some of the hardest to work with at the start, and then turned out to be a great relationship and almost like a necessary friction, just like mistakes in your art, or not even mistakes, right? But like chaos with like that stuff is necessary. You know, it's like sometimes I like, yeah, it's like, yeah, have people around that, yeah, yeah, friends. Yeah.
Well, so now Broken Lantern is a partnership between you and your wife Julie and your daughter, correct? You were
Yeah.
the three of that. That's
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
And
And
we work
so
we work close too with other artists. What was
you
that?
met Julie in the underground basing in San
Yeah.
Francisco, right?
Mm-hmm.
Were
Oh,
you like painting when you met
you
her?
did your homework. Awesome. Yeah, we met at this spot called what was it? Base Base something. Our friend Lotus threw it, and it was on 6th Street in San Francisco. And I was really intentional. Eternal Wong. My wife just popped her head in and said Eternal Wong. So we met there, and um, let's see. So we met there, and I saw her dancing in front of me, and came up and saw her, like, she had nice curly hair and big old butt and cutie, and I told her she had nice energy. She was just like feeling herself that night. She gave me a big hug, and I told my buddy, I was like, called her. I didn't know what she was called. I like forgot her name. I was like, this is a rush of a night, and I called her the girl with the embrace. And then I told my best friend, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna marry that girl, like I know it. And I told him that night, and then yeah, then it was 3 years of chasing her. She lived with another dude. And she's polyamorous. She, kind of got me into those ways. Like, it was a trip. Being madly in love with somebody that's living with somebody else. But it was worth it. We have a beautiful thing going on. I couldn't do this without her.
Mhm.
She's she's a different way of thinking that I'm constantly. We constantly are. You know, we've learned how to work with it better and better. Sometimes it can cause like fire. Like, but if we learn that, learning how to work with each other and how different we are from each other, and that it's kind of like opposites attract, but that's like a real thing where it's like you can move better, you know, and then all the right signs were there and all the right, like, I've never been so
Yeah.
focused on anything in my life. So,
Now she's an artist too, right? She's a photographer and was doing photos
mhm.
in the basing.
Yep.
What is your partnership like now with you guys both being artists in your own different way, and how do you make space for each other and uh, rise each other up?
Yeah, we luckily she likes to be around me. So like, and I like being around her. So like we're usually like, she's in the other room. She can hear me right now. She's like, so yeah, we live close. So we always see each other. We have a lot of people over. So that's fun. And that ends like a lot of difference. And she like believes in what we're doing. She's about it. And and like community and friends and family, and you know. Um, so yeah, I guess we lived on the road for a couple of years in a trailer, in like a 19-foot trailer, and there were two dogs, big dogs, and two cats, and her daughter that was like a year old at that time, and then we were 2 years on the road, and that was, selling art on the side of the street, um, here and there, getting like a good sale. A lot of times not making money for like months at a time, even sometimes like nothing substantial, and like building it up, and part of it is like as we've like gone on through this, and we've figured out like more and more about like how it seems to work for us, you know. It's like as we do more and more of that, um uh we've learned kind of how it works. Like it's like trusting the process. Like we really like take that to high meaning, like it works because it has to. It's another thing we believe here, like like we've always been scraping by like month to month, and we've always had like at the same time like more, and we have like blessings at the same time. It's not like, you know it's not all bad, but it always is like the money part of it's like kind of constant, where, like I don't know, it's a trip being like an artist, and trying to make it work, because yeah. So now it's like, I guess a lot of it's like grace, like when we were on the road and I wasn't selling as much art, she was doing more photography, or how it was working out. Her having grace with me in that situation. And when COVID hit, she lost a lot of work from photography, because like she does weddings and she's really good at that. And so like all that business was gone. So then it was just me, and then like me having grace with her figuring it out. And now we're both pretty balanced on like how we bring in like security for the family, like monetarily, and like, but it's still, it's like, just having grace with each other. It's like the real thing. And then, so like something like I believe too is like, like you should always be able to like come back to like people you love, and be able to like work with them. And like, even it takes like time or patience, or, usually takes a lot of patience, but like always coming back, and like, and I like to practice that with my friends as well, and like hold space for that.
So after so much time on the road, like what called you to Joshua Tree specifically?
Well, I guess like part of it was, I heard Zach Jack's ZJ Ratio is out here, and he's a good artist I liked. And I always heard about like the desert as like a good art scene, right? I went out to like Desert Hearts, or there's like some I don't know if it was Desert Hearts. It was one of the desert festivals, and came out to one, and we're like, oh, it's pretty cool out here. And we drove through Joshua Tree, liked it. We gave Bobby Cruz a ride home one night from that festival, and 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 then and I was like, oh, it's pretty cool. It's like Bobby's out here and other people. Like it seems like kind of happening, and but also like I wanted to be. I've always liked being from California. It's always been like it's part of my identity. And it's like I've always been like a California boy. Well, I don't know. I love California. I know the national parks out here real good, and like I know the cities pretty well. I still don't know like the names of the freeways. I've always been bad at that. But like I know this place, and like it was like the last place in California we could afford. And to me, like I never really liked Southern California too much, because like kind of like the busyness of it, and like kind of like the vibe, and like also Northern California, you're kind of like conditioned to do that. Oh, it's fuck SoCal, it's just that kind of shit. And like, but then I came out here, and it's like slower in the Joshua Tree area. We're on 29 Palms out here, so it's like right next to it, and it's yeah, it's slower out here, and it has like a Northern California kind of vibe to it. I love it, and we've had more and more people think about like moving out here, and the art scene's popping off more and more. And that's like some cool opportunities come up. Like I have a friend that owns like 70 acres in Joshua Tree National Park, and like inside the park, and we're talking about doing like an art festival there, and and I've been working with other artists, and I have some pretty fun concepts for this festival. And but it's gonna be smaller. It'll be like a kickback, and we're gonna have like really good like environmental like kind of team kind of stuff on it. So because if it's gonna be yeah, so it's gonna be trips. So there's things like that that are like popping up from being out here.
When is that
Um,
that you're planning on doing that?
so I haven't talked anything about it yet too much, but this is cool. So, but yeah, so that's gonna be in like fall of maybe next year.
Cool.
Like I'm not gonna rush it, and I want it to be like super intentional and like really get the idea for it out. I don't want to like give too much away about like the concept, but I think it's going to be a concept that will be easily repeatable by other festival groups, and it'd be really cool if that happened because I think it'd be really cool to travel different art festivals like around the country. So like at first I was like worried about oh, what if people copy it? See, that's part of collaboration, right? You can't think that way, right? Um, you can, but you're not going to go like as far. We're humans. We have to collaborate. And like, but I do have like good ideas about how to do it that have been bounced around in my head for a long while as like a main focus. So I want to do it in a way, I want to do it and then other people be like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then they can do their thing a little bit on it, but be fun. Um, yeah, I'd like to have artists as headliners and pay them really well. Yeah,
Amazing.
that's the dream. Yeah.
That's a good dream.
Yeah. 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 Artists are special. They're people that, every artist that comes through here, it gets hard because I've had so many artists through here. It has to be like, I want to say like probably somewhere around 50, 60 artists now. I could be underestimating it. I'm probably vastly underestimating it.
Yeah, I definitely
But
find artists to be, the more unique and interesting people of my friends in this life. Not all
yeah.
of my friends are artists, but the ones who are artists, and even if they're just, uh, yeah, not as close of friends, that they're super interesting. They
Yeah.
view the world differently, and I like being around them.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets hard for me sometimes because I'll have like an artist here for like a week and then they'll leave, then I'll have another artist pop by like a day later and they'll be here for like a week and they'll have such great stories and I'll hear like and I'm so interested in the stories and then like everybody's like tempered by fire in such a like beautiful way and like yeah and then it like starts molding together kind of for me where it's like hard to see the stories who's it's a trip for me like yeah it's like hard for me to like yeah I want to be able to like remember everybody's own little things, but it is getting to a point where it's getting bigger but it's cool. There's been some fun people like really like a lot of different supporters in different ways. People that are dreaming with us.
If someone is standing in front of one of your works for the first time, what do you hope they walk away with? Not just visually, but emotionally or energetically.
Hmm. I'm hoping they walk away with a painting. That'd be cool.
100.
But like I guess I don't hope for anything. I guess um, I just try to stay focused and grounded in like what I'm trying to do with it. Like where I'm just still making it, still progressing, still trying things, and that's so like I want them to get whatever they can from it, whatever they want from it, you know, or maybe what they need, not what they want, but like something.
That's another question I meant to ask earlier, but like when you're first start creating a piece of artwork, do you have a vision in your mind of what you're wanting it to turn out to be, or do you just start building and it becomes what it is?
I get this question a lot. This is a good one. Yeah, it's I never have an idea what it's gonna be. Um, Sometimes I do, like whenever I do like portraits of people that have like passed recently and things like that. Well, no, I'm like at least going in with like a face, but that's pretty much the only time I go in with like a plan. And so also the only time I really do form, like portraits and stuff. But like, so I try to keep plans out of it. I try to keep so like even this one behind me, I don't have a plan with it. You know, I want to make it look cooler, and that's pretty much the plan. Is like developing it more and more. Make yeah, like I don't know where it's going. Um, but I hope to recognize it when it gets there.
Well, and
And like
how do you recognize that when you've got like a masterpiece right behind you like you do? And
it's
I
got
mean,
like another year on it, I think.
is it done when it's sold, or is it yeah, like how do you
That does help.
not
I mean, like the
overwork it?
buyer coming in does help. Like it does help when someone's like, "Hey, like oh, that looks really good to me right now." And I'm like, "Okay." Like if I'm in a place where I'm like, it's looking really good to me, but like like right now, if like a buyer came in, it would be like, okay, like get a list going or something, but like which there is a little bit already, but like also like I don't like attaching money to it. Um, like until it's done, I don't want to like attach a value to it. So like buyers coming in helps. Um, because for me, I could paint something for like the rest of my life. I could just keep working on the same painting. So, yeah. And
Well, it shows,
because I can always
and
change it. Yeah. Yeah.
it shows on that painting behind you too, just how much time you've put into it. Like, how many hours do you think could be put into that painting by the end if you worked on that for 3 years?
Um, I mean today only I've put in at least 8 hours. So I mean today was really a great day of painting actually. Some days like it flows really good. And like today it really did. And I like to like take, and like even like last night I only got like 3 hours of sleep. It was like a bad night of sleep and got my coffee and still showed up to the canvas. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, it's flowing today. Like, okay, cool. So then work with it like as long as I can. And then also this one I'm doing oil paint on it. Um my last big piece was all acrylic. And then Flam Goo came by and taught me how to do oil paint. She learned from CT Nelson. And it's so she like passed that to me, and after she came last time I bought all these oil paints and was super ready to go, and just kind of like got shy about it or something, and she came back through this last time, we brought them back out, and like I love oil paint, like so I'm having like a lot of fun with that right now, which is like I was getting to, you can always learn more, I could always get better blends and things like that, and it's always, but with acrylic I was getting to a point like where it was like kind of had like a lot of kind of figured out. Not really even. I was just I didn't, but like enough to where it was like really, I don't know. The oil, it's like a whole new thing to figure out. It's so fun.
Well, it's nice that it dries slow and it gives you that time to blend it. I have a real hard time blending my acrylics and yeah, constantly fighting with them. But I don't work in oils as much. I still have these holdups about getting into them.
Come by, I'll teach you.
Cool.
I'm on teaching people an oil trip right now, dude. Everybody that comes by, I'm doing oil. Yeah, just had our friend New Depths just came through. We did like an oil piece. She just did that for her first time. I just got my wife into it. Our friend Becky that coordinates the Lions Den, she just came through and we did an oil piece. And that was just like within the last like month. And it's been really fun. I'm about to teach our homegirl that's staying with us right now. Oils too. And it's gonna be fun. You know, it's really neat. It's neat to have like when you have to think you have something all figured out and you have like a whole new medium that jumps in. It's like, oh, cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I definitely look forward to coming down there and visit you, do another podcast with you live, and show everyone what you got going on down there.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Um, got kind of just a couple more questions, and then I think we'll wrap up. But like, what advice would you give to someone who wants to become a master of their craft? Because that's exactly what I would say you are, is a
Thank you.
master who does it, who's doing it and doing the work day after day. So like, respect to you, friend.
Thank you. Thank you, brother. uh, Advice to be a master of a craft. I mean, just find something you love. And it sounds so simple, but like find something that you love or something that it's not even that I love painting in a way. I love the way that my brain solves the puzzle of it and how I feel like other people appreciate like what it does in the world, you know? And I think there's art in everything. So I think we can all be artists and like, or, you know, and like, seriously, like tell me a profession, show me a profession, I'll show you the art in it. Like we can find it, you know? And like, that was something I did back in the day, like, you know, try to do like 10 different like creative things or like, it was like, what was it? It was a creative thing like every hour. I try to do that. And it'd just be like, even like stacking like 5 hour energies when the person wasn't looking at like 7-Eleven or something, you know? It's like jumping off something and spinning or something, you know, like just, you know, there's just, so there's mastery is just finding what you want to pursue and pursuing it. You know, everything takes 10 years, you know, but 10 years of like constant, you know, work. And like, there's a comedian, Bert Kreischer, he said, he made it when he was 40 something, mid 40s, like made it in the way of like having money, in the way of like his art, which is comedy, you know, like doing, letting him navigate the world however he wants to. And, and he said that it was really good he didn't make it when he was 30 because then he would have had too much money. You know, like he wouldn't have had everything built up to like have the ability to like wield that kind of responsibility. So like me being 38 now, I feel like I've had a lot of lessons that I've learned and still more that I need to learn. So part of mastery is like the ability to like be okay being in the trenches for 10 years. I've been in the trenches for 15 plus years now and working on this thing. And like and I'm still not there yet. I'm still not to where like I'm not living month to month, you know. So so all things come in time and working for it is the journey is the destination like people talk about, you know. Like working at it is the joy is the work. The joy is in work for the benefit of all beings everywhere. You know, work that serves us as like a collective. We are a collective. Humanity is close. The people you see on the street that are yelling at themselves, those are people that were in solitary in prison. Those are people that were disconnected from their brothers and sisters for too long. Like we are a community, we are a collective, like in the, you know, and Terence McKenna said, if the artist cannot find the way cannot be found. So uh artists that I know, we have a shared interest, which is painting. So we can do that together, you know? And if we can't be friends and love each other and make this shit work and like create like a bountiful environment with each other, then like who can? So we're gonna just start it there and everybody's gonna be invited. And all art forms, all forms of mastery, you know, because it takes community. We can't just have all artists, or it's just, you know, everybody's just sitting around painting. There's no food being made. There's no transportation possible. There's nothing like the world exists because we're all here doing our own forms of mastery. So figure out how you can help come at the world in a place of service, and your path will be shown to you. If you come at it, you know, in a real way, where it's how do I fit in? How do I help this? How is my best way to fit in for humanity? Then it's going to come, you know. But that's, I think the question is what can I do? The earth is preparing for a change. How can you help? You know, always the idea of newness and novelty. That's who we are. We're artists. We create newness and novelty. And without us, without musicians and without comedians, it'd be too much to bear.
Indeed. Those are wise words, Maurice. Thank you very much for that.
Thanks, man.
Love to just open it up for anything that we skipped or glossed over, anything you'd like to come back on. Also, I will link up your links to your work and socials in the show notes. But it's artfool.com, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah, so
Funny though.
anything else you'd like to close us out with?
Maybe give me a word.
Practice.
Practice is in the center of sanity.
Amazing.
You know, yeah. Love you, brother.
Love you too. Thank you so much, Maurice. It's a time to go back on the tracks, on a journey of healing, to remember our roots, who we are, and our interconnectivity with all of life. From there, we will build a new operating system that honors natural laws and the creative spirit inherent in all. Join me and my artist friends on the Vision Train.
And we're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we're talking about practice. Not a game, not a game, not a game. We're talking about practice. But we talking about practice, man. What are we talking about? Practice? We're talking about practice, man. We're talking about practice. We're talking about practice. We ain't talking about the game. We're talking about practice, man.